All right, so here's your basic of your average book through in CRP style. And obviously, at any point, you can explode this thing out and get as creative as you want. But the basic book through is you have a book that your class is reading, that you and your students are reading through, and this is how you're going to break down a framework to get students to contribute what they've learned in the book, what they've learned while they've read, and be able to present something to the class or to their parents or to constituents or public, whatnot, when they're all done. The very next slide, the first one would just be students put their name there. Second one would be description from you in pure CRP style. You tell them how this is going to go down, what they're going to be doing, erase the content that you provided them when they're all finished. The typical CRP stuff is what you're going to put here in the first description. And then you have roles where you're going to assign, if you're doing groups of 3 or 4 or 2 or even individuals, here's what your responsibility is. Here's who the grammar Nazi is. Here's who the aesthetics supervisor is, and what they're going to do. That's the roles of what they're going to be taken care of as they work through their book through CRP. So then we have the background. Background is now where you would ask students to frame the background of the book. So far, what we've learned, what have I told you in class, what have you been reading about, what's the background context of this CRP, or not the CRP, but rather this book. You know, what's the scene, what's the setting, what's the audience here. And you can do really creative things by having them find images and actually put an image in there that represents the background or the imagery. If you're reading a book that's about Prague, they should find no less than 3 pictures, for instance, to put on this slideshow, and then give a description of the 6 to 8 things that would dictate or illustrate that they understand what the background of this book is on who their audience is as they're about to read. Then you have character development. You could easily, in a framework, put out there, tell students, provide me with a modern day equivalent of character X, you know, Malcolm, whoever this is in this book. What's a modern day equivalent of that person as an actor today? Maybe they have to go out and find a video of the actor who could play or who could be the character in this book. Maybe you just have to give a character sketch or something like that, or a profile. You have to profile all the different little nuances of that character's attitude and the way that they talk. Maybe they have to find quotes from the character and put it in here. Maybe you provide the students as a fill in the blank. This character shows X emotions, or it does this, or this character fill in the blank here. And so that as you work through the rest of the characters, because you wouldn't just stop at character 1, each student might have 2 or 3 characters, or each student might have 1 character, or everybody might be collectively working on a group of 10 characters, but you can certainly replicate that same character page, same character slide, multiple times, where you're having them do the fill in the blank or find a modern day equivalent of each of the 5 major characters in the book. Then you can even have something like a character relationship diagram, where you use Google Drawings built right in here. So if you come into the top of Google Presentations, you can do insert and then drawing, and you could have them create a little sketch or diagram about who's related to whom. So you have the 2 different parents up here are related to this person and this cousin, and how do they interact, and so that you can have these lines that connect them back and forth about who is connected to whom in this book and how might they be connected. You can even have them as hyperlinks where they would actually jump to different characters in the book. So as you clicked on those diagram images, it would actually bring you back to maybe character number 1's slide. And so that's a really clever way to build that character relationship diagram that could then be hyperlinked back to each of those pages. Then you've got easy chapter components where you can have students include all the vocabulary from chapter 1 on this page, find imagery that represents chapter 1, etc., etc., etc. You could have them find videos, even create videos, all different types of things that would represent chapter 1, and you can keep going on and on with all the different chapters. I think you get the idea here. And you can certainly end the whole thing or even intersperse the quotes throughout. And the really cool part is you can insert the quotes in here, and you can even use some of the tools in research up here to actually look up quotes, see right here, and see if they're already in there, and drag and drop them in if you want to in the Google presentation. Or there's many other different things that you can actually do to help basically students find quotes, insert the quotes in here, and those quotes could be hyperlinked out to a website that would show who said it, or how it's been used or how many times it's been used. So you can ask these students to contribute to this document and build this presentation of this book through while you're reading through the book. It might take months, honestly, or just weeks, maybe just several days. And it could be an individual doing it or a whole group of students doing it. And their assignment at the end could be that they have to present to class. So maybe you're actually even going to break it up so that you only have characters 1 through 6 as this group's, and group number 2 in the class is actually going to take the rest of the characters. Or maybe you split your class up into, these students are going to take care of all the characters that are in this book, and these students are going to take care of all of the quotes and all of the chapter overview information. And when they actually present at the end at 2 different times, you get a different flavor, a different vantage point of the same book from 2 different perspectives. It's basically just a book report, but it's a presentation style, and they have to do that research where they have to go out on the internet, find videos, find images, find content that is relevant to their books while they're reading it, and develop that presentation as they go. That's a CRP book through.